Good morning and welcome to another edition of Roadhouse Live. We are live. Today is July 3, 2023, eve of Independence Day. Bender, are you feeling independent?
Yes, definitely.
So you feel no need or desire to declare anything because you are already independent.
Well, it's too early for this shit.
It's just, I just wanted to be within the, in the theme, kind of be like within the moment of what it is. All right, so let's get into the stuff because it's too early to be into other stuff. So let's get into this stuff. This stuff says Tesla numbers blew out once again as far as deliveries. It's up very nicely. Some of the other makers are up nicely also. I think XPEV is having a nice little morning. Otherwise, the markets are relatively flat. Apple being the interesting one to me this morning, because I believe I don't want to say downgraded, but their sales for their new little headset, dilly majigget. So, yeah, I don't think they're going to get as much money as they thought they were going to get for the sales on that. So they downgraded it somehow or another. And it's not exactly, pulling back based off of that. So that kind of sets the overall tone for where we're at. I think Apple price action should be interesting. How much of the gap Tesla can keep should be interesting. Also watching names like Boeing and UNH. They seem to be in best position for some type of a catch-up trade, or they're going to roll over. If you're looking at those charts, they're very close to looking, at least on the daily, like kind of sort of maybe head and shoulders over there. So watching that action and that flow should be telling also. We do get additional data this morning. Believe it or not, we get ISM manufacturing and ISM PMI. We get that 30 minutes after open. So those usually in normal market conditions, not half days, can be market movers. But those two data points will be coming out 30 minutes after market open. There continues to be unrest in France. They're not real happy with people being killed by the police, which, nobody's happy about people getting killed by the police. So we have that. Tomorrow, we have absolutely nothing. The day is off. Today is a half day. But as far as additional data coming out this week, let's kind of jump into a little bit of that. Like I said, we do get the ISM manufacturing numbers. Tomorrow, obviously, we have nothing. We have the day off. And then getting into Wednesday, we do get FOMC minutes. But they have pretty much charted out those conversations as far as what they are. But we do get minutes, and then we get ADP non-farm employment on Thursday. Rounding it out on Friday, we get non-farm payrolls and unemployment rate. So that's kind of how the week is stacked in advance of the half day and then holiday. With that being said, Bender, show me this bull flag over here that is consolidating up against the previous high.
Gladly. All right, here you go. Here's my screen here. All right, let's go to 60-minute because this is what you're talking about right in here. Up against this previous high. Right over here, 44.93.75. We popped through it last week, pulled back. And yeah, right now, just consolidating nicely up here. The levels that I have that I'm watching, let's go out to a weekly real quick. We're kind of looking at this. We're talking about this 4504.75 last week. That's the top of this weekly fair value gap. And you can see above it, there is no fair value gap right there. There isn't one up here either. So up here, 47.18 was the top of that weekly candle, right? But I think that 4504 gets touched, and there might be some selling, profit taking that occurs at that location, maybe. Going back to a 15-minute, the levels that I have marked out here for the day. So you get the top of that weekly fair value gap up there. You have 44.98, which was the high from Friday, right? The 30th, whenever the 30th was. What was the 30th? Thursday?
I think so, yeah.
So that was the high. From the 30th, you can see I've got this shaded box down here because there's an actual gap in price that occurred right here. So I've got that highlighted. We traded down through it and now just kind of bouncing around in that area. So, after taking both the London and Asia session highs and lows, this is kind of the level to watch, right? To see if we are going to maintain price above it. In this area here, if we get above that 44.88, then you're looking at 93.25, and then that 44.98. That's kind of what I'm looking at. As far as levels below, and then obviously above that 44.98, then you have the top of that weekly fair value gap. Levels below, we've got this low right here, which is 44.80.75. That's one of those where, you watch and kind of see if it takes it by a tick and then pulls back up, or if it sustains below. And if it does, it's probably going to fill in this 15-minute fair value gap right here. Let's put that right on the number. 44.70 half would fill in this 15-minute fair value gap. And then you can see there's another one below. So if it pulls through that and that acts as resistance, maybe it trades back up into a fair value gap that it leaves behind. This would be the next one it would target, would be down here to fill in 44.54, 44.55, kind of right in there. Then the last things to look at would be, we still have, remember that regular trading hours gap that we sold through, and then we gapped back above. So that's what this box is, kind of in that 42 to 51 range. It left it behind twice. So at some point, maybe it goes and fills that in. And then we have that channel midpoint, right? The bigger, if we go out to the daily, this channel you can see with the purple trendline resistance and support levels, the yellow dotted line being the midpoint of that. And that comes in, if we were to pull back, that would come in somewhere around, where that regular trading hours gap sits. So if it were to pull back into that, you could see it maybe retesting that. But if we go back to what we were saying, kind of 60-minute, right? When we were pulling back, it was like, okay, 60-minute candles down, 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 down until it reverses. It reversed, and then it's up, 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 up. So until it reverses, it's like,
yeah,
okay,
it's difficult
right now,
to play
the trend
any
is
games.
Up.
Yeah, until it breaks that previous high with some type of volume, some type of real sell pressure. I think in a lot of ways you're guessing more than not. Even though it's like days like today are like the ideal days to go back and recheck those levels and do nothing. Um, Half day volume is going to be minimal, most likely. Um,
And the thing about these days with a holiday tomorrow, um, you know, they can, if they decide to push, they can go test the top of this, channel. We could blink and be at 45.50.
Absolutely.
Right? We can blink and be, retesting down in here.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be 100 points. But
Probably
yeah,
not
50
the
up
100
or down,
points, but yeah.
probably
Yeah,
not. But yeah.
Yeah. I
So-
think that from a range standpoint, we might have 20 points worth of range that they give us, unless there's something that just comes out, which I don't know. I don't know what could come out.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right.
I don't know what kind of volume we're going to get today. I don't know, and I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of trading today, but this, if I was going to be sitting here for the full session, that's kind of how I would play this is the way that I just laid it out. That's what I would be looking for. So,
yeah. And then, so you're that, market open. You're going to be gone, and I'm going to go to Maine with Charlie and hang out there for a couple hours, to give him some entertainment. So you're
perfect. So
it's like half day. Everybody else is off, so
yeah,
like, fuck it.
Yeah. Here's a Bitcoin chart. I'd set an alert for anybody that's watching Bitcoin, crypto in general. I'd set an alert at this 38.8668. If it crosses that and is able to hold, you can see that fair value gap that it left behind on the 60-minute here. On the SEC headline, I'd set an alert for that. If it pops through that, I think there's a good chance that it starts a run up.
It doesn't look like
to
it wants to
35K.
roll over.
No.
It does not.
Look at this hourly chart.
Yeah, no. In any capacity, it looks like a little falling wedge that's looking to try to break out, at least on the 30-minute.
Yeah.
Very, very similar to what we were doing with on the 1 hour for those several days, and then we just caught fire and ripped back the other way.
MSTR up pre-market. Let's look at MSTR said they had. What do they have now? It's like, I think they said they had 5 billion. What was that headline? There was a headline that was out this morning, I think, on them. Yeah, watch your crypto names. That's kind of why I say set that alert, because if it pops, there's probably some good money to be made on these. Your Riot, Mara, Hut, MSTR. I don't know. Is Hut still Hut? What are they hutting?
I don't know. I can't say that I've seen Hut flow in a minute.
Still some headlines in here. I don't know that they're. I don't see anything actually related to the mining operation. Let's see. Oh, 6,400. Let's see, when was that? June 22nd. 6,400 ASIC miners. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really kept up with them. I never really did, ever. It was really more about trading the, momentum of crypto. But yeah, set an alert there, and if it pops that and holds it, these names are likely going to rise with it. If it pops it,
interesting setup on the daily on Bitcoin. That was just kind of flagging here, about to break out above that previous high.
The Coinbase. Let's see. go. Yeah, this pullback was 50%, and I think this pullback was 50% as well. Pop that previous high, and yeah, lagging here. Now,
interesting setups. It's like I look at that NVIDIA chart on the hourly, and that thing can just as easily sell as it could moonshot.
So there's your 50% retracement of this most recent down move, right at that 32,000 level. And you can see the 618 being up here, 35,876.
Mm-hmm.
So if it gets through, go back to the 60-minute, gets through that, you're probably looking at testing this 31,278. And you got this high, 31,479, and then that 50% retracement at 32,000. Anyway,
yeah. I would also say keep your eye on Chinese names. I think Yellen is going to China to talk about stuff.
You know what's interesting, Hells, is that it's a half day today, and like we were just talking about, lots of people taking off, and we have about the same number of viewers that we have just about every day. So it sounds like looks like the people that are listening to us, they're here.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah.
That should warm all of our hearts. Thank you for coming in and listening. We appreciate you very, very much.
So I'm guessing we don't have Stonkington, no Price is Right, and Sonny is still traversing the globe.
Globe-trotting, correct.
Yeah, which should be back, I think,
correct.
next week.
Oh, will he be back next week?
I don't know. Isn't that what it's? I'd have to go back and look now.
I have no idea. I have no clue. That boy just goes and does whatever he does, however he does it.
Yeah. Hey, here's a quick story. We finally got some rain, and we had all these down trees, piles of trees that I had to go light on fire, right? Mm-hmm. And I've been like just waiting for it to rain. So it starts raining late Saturday night, and as soon as it starts raining, I'm just like, it's 9:00 at night, and I'm like gathering my things to go light fires, figuring I'll be out there all night. My wife's like, she sees me start. I'm like, honey, it's raining. And I grab my keys, and she's like, what are you doing? I'm gonna go light fires. No, you're not. You're not going out there. You're gonna be out there. I'll just wait until the morning. So I'm like, fine. I get up early and I go light fires, and about an hour, we had some decent sized fires going. Everything was wet, so there was no concern of like fire spreading or anything like that. About an hour into it, the fire marshal shows up, and here when you're going to light fires, you have to call the sheriff and let them know, just in case they get any calls or anything. And we had done that. We let them know. But the fire marshal shows up, and he's sitting at my front gate. He's got his lights on. And he just came to tell me that they had received a complaint about smoke. And he said, but I see that you called it in. You called the sheriff. We just came out just to check on it. But everything looks great. And he leaves, and he comes back about 20 minutes later, lights on again. And he goes, well, we told the neighbor that complained about the smoke that everything looked fine. And then he complained about ash falling on his property. And I looked at him like, ash falling on his property, hot ash? And he said, no, it's just ash falling on his property. And I'm like, I can't, how do I control the ash? And he's like, you can't. And I said, okay. Is there anything else that I should be doing? And he said, no, everything looks great. And I said, so you just came to tell me that everything looks great? And he said, yeah, and to tell you your neighbor's a pain in the ass. I was like, awesome. I'm like, yeah, that guy is a pain in the ass. And he's
So
like,
in a lot of ways, you should send him an invoice for the ash because that's really good for his soil.
right?
You really should. Yeah, no, we have this thing out here. It's like if it's raining, you like fill out this little form online and you don't have to pay anything for burning. You just go on and say, hey, this is the address, this is a fire. What is like it's like less than 5 minutes of just clicking boxes, send, right? Um,
Why do you
if
say
it's
pay anything for burning a fire?
because if it's not raining, you have to pay $5.
What?
I'm sorry, 380, $3.80. Sorry.
What does that 380 do?
Well, obviously it's money that they collect.
But because you're burning on your own property?
Yeah, if it's going to be of above a certain size. It's
Well,
like they,
then if it gets out of control, do they come put it out for
yeah.
free? And is that what they're like subsidizing?
Well, I think a lot of it is from the standpoint to like situations kind of like yours. They kind of map it out to where if they get a call or they know exactly where it is or whatever it is, they know how to deal with it instead of just running fire trucks left, right, and sideways. If there's any type of a smokestack going anywhere.
Aggie Man's got a good point. Yeah, we don't do permits. Like, I just have to call the sheriff and say, hey, I'm going to have a fire. Here's the address and my phone number. And then,
yeah, it's the same thing. It literally
you just have to pay for it.
But if it's raining, you don't.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? So
Gotcha.
it's like it's just a different level of kind of quote unquote accountability and knowing what's going on. But for the most part, you really don't because the size of the fire that you have to kind of account for is just like a massive fire, like as far as what you actually have to pay for, like huge. And I'm not running 20 by 20-foot fires. At least I'm not. Maybe you are.
Oh, dude, the biggest fire that we had yesterday. I posted a picture in Discord, but that pile was probably, I bet it was 150 feet wide and probably, or long and probably about 50 feet wide and probably 20 feet tall. The flames were probably,
wow.
God, I don't even know, 60 feet. It was intense. It was intense.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, when they say, yeah, well, we got some reports of smoke, but that's because there was a lot.
A lot. And if it's wet, it's like the smoke is going to be that much more thick.
And a lot of the trees were still green because we had just pulled them out.
Yeah. No, a lot of that is just really messy, but yeah. No, we've had a ton of rain the past several days. A ton. Whew. All right, that's all I got. You got anything else?
That's all I got.
All right. Well, I'll be wandering.
Won't see you tomorrow. See you Wednesday.
See you on the Wednesday for a record-breaking show. And,
what's the record?
I don't know. I'll come up with something.
The most shows ever in the month of July.
Yeah.
We're going to break it all month.
I think that's a good one. I think that's a good
one. We're going to break it all month.
All right, buddy. Be careful. Have fun.
Yep. See ya.